We've been under global government for a long time. They're just now mopping up the final holdouts. Iran, Libya, Indonesia. Doesn't even mean those countries are good. Most governments are corrupt. Pakistan. It's on. Now, we've actually got another guest coming up. I don't know how I'm going to cover all this. They are now announcing cameras to watch all children eating in America and CPS your children if the food isn't proper. That's out of the Associated Press. We're going to break it down. We are back live, ladies and gentlemen. It is hour number 2. If you just joined us, cyber warfare rules included in defense bill. The Cybersecurity Act they've now added to the defense bill they've tried to pass for, 4 years or so or more, says all infrastructure, government Pentagon hubs, the Pentagon will openly attack alternative media websites in the U.S., all radio, TV, all cell phones, all devices, the wireless networks, the smart meters, all government Pentagon run, with the Pentagon domestically, the 4 branches of the military running things. We're going to be breaking all of that down and how it dovetails with Google wants to control your home, CNN, the big article by Paul Joseph Watson that is so key for everyone to understand the full spectrum of what's happening. Federal spy ships to hijack your phone. The announcement that Americans are set to be bombarded with a mandatory government propaganda via their cell phones represents a shocking lurch forward in the Obama administration's bid to launch a total takeover of all communications as part of a wider move towards controlling the Internet, developing an omnipresent wiretap system, and creating a constant environment of suspicion and distrust, enlisting citizens to spy on each other. So it's a dual kill switch where they can individually kill devices. And that's admitted today, all over the news. Oh, it's a chip in the phone that can kill it, that can listen to you, that can cut your calls and force video or text up there. And they've already got the basic takeover chips in there, but now they're saying we want a total takeover chip. And it's going in next year, and of course they've already been manufactured, and they're ready, and it was all time for the bin Laden rollout. Just like in 96, they passed the telecommunications that all phones will be tracked in real time and listen to you without warrants. They had to be in place with all manufacturers by October 1st, 2001, 1 month after 9/11, so that everybody would go along with it. It's all been scripted. There's a master plan. It's all been laid out. It's so childlike that I get emails saying, you mean Obama's continuing what Bush did? Yeah, the wars, the torture, the Guantanamo, the secret arrest, the lobbyists, the banker bailouts. It's bipartisan. Of course, at that level, they're doing what the ruling class and the elite and the corporations want. Of course, Bush saved the fake bin Laden capture and kill for Obama. I mean, those guys are all on the same team. Grow up and get it. The elite decide who they want as president. They get behind him. They give him the money. They promote him. They put a ringer in, like Bob Dole in 96, or another corpse, McCain in 2008, vice versa. They run the cousin of Bush, Skull&Bones, fraternity buddy, Kerry against him. Bush clearly steals the election, and Kerry doesn't contest it. Even though he had total proof, later folks went to prison for it. It's not that Kerry was good. It's not that McCain was good. It's that their time was up. It's a Don King fight. People are like, well, how does Don King rig a fight? He tells one of the guys, you're getting paid $500,000, and I'm going to give you future fights, and you go down in the fourth, at the end of the fourth. He's got big money on that. Do you understand? And the fighter knows when to go down at the end of the fourth. I mean, this is not rocket science, ladies and gentlemen. Hypothetically, that's just a joke. We all know Don King doesn't fix fights. And we all know that Private Lynch really, that was all real. And Pat Tillman was killed fighting Al-Qaeda. And the Easter Bunny, has 14-inch fangs and wants to drink your blood. I mean, it's all made up. Okay, vampires aren't real. Goblins aren't real. And this bin Laden thing isn't real. Santa Claus isn't real. Bottom line. Now, I've been authorized now to talk about this. I knew about it yesterday. We Are Change Colorado contacted us and got us in touch with their lawyer. It turns out we've interviewed before, a great guy. And we're going to be talking to him straight ahead. The terrorist we heard about, the evil people that were videotaping in the Denver International Devil Airport. It was We Are Change. It was a big national scare. Oh, someone's videotaping them groping children. It's wrong. Don't show the TSA's crimes. Oh, arrest them. Coming up for just the next 5 minutes or so, Gary Fielder joins us. He's the constitutional lawyer out in Denver, Colorado, that has filed lawsuits and got involved with shutting down the naked body scanner at some of the different courthouses for people under 18, showing them the state law that it is child pornography. I've also had other district attorneys on from places like the county that San Francisco is in, saying that they will arrest TSA if they touch on the outside of the pants, misdemeanor inside the pants for felony. Now, all over the country, the TSA is groping one-year-old children, sticking their hands down their diaper. They sticking their hands down 6-year-old girls' pants, and with a straight face saying, hey, we're doing this for your own good. Kind of like the Pentagon now admits they're going to break into your cell phone with terror announcements to terrorize you and force their way into your life. Kind of like they're now reporting in San Antonio, the Associated Press, that all children will be watched by smart AI computers, cameras, to see what they eat and how much they don't eat. CNN reports Google wants to control your home. I'm going to be breaking this down after Gary leaves us, constitutional lawyer, joining us. But I was told yesterday about this, but they weren't sure if they wanted to talk about it yet. And I thought, well, We Are Change Colorado. I know their lawyer in the past has been Gary. So I told Aaron, I said, get a hold of them again and ask who their lawyer is. And I think it's good for them to come out and talk about what happened. And so here he is today to break exactly what happened late last week. Here's the Denver Post: 4 arrested in attempted DIA security breach. So now it's a security breach to videotape the people being groped. How dare you try to show, the government's going to surveil us. They're going to listen to us over our phones without warrants. They're going to stick their hands down our pants. They're going to put face scanning and license plate reading cameras up everywhere. They're going to roast us in radiation machines. But when they arrested them, they knew full well who they were. But they held it out there all weekend. Who were the terrorists? Who tried to hit DIA? Man, it's getting bad. It reportedly caused a nationwide panic of fear. Was Al-Qaeda trying to hit the airport? And if a box blew out of a car in Dallas, they shut down highways and panicked. And in Chicago, Illinois, total fear. Take our rights. Break in on our radio and TV. Take over our cell phones. Telescreens everywhere. The terrorists are so dangerous. Because we got bin Laden. Woohoo, yeah. Now we're going to take all your rights and no ride list on trains and buses and checkpoints and federally funded blood draws at checkpoints. We're going to get in your business. We're going to break your will. We're going to teach normal law-abiding citizens that you're prisoners. This is your prisoner training. Your boot camp to learn how to lick government boots and pay those trillions to those offshore banks. Now, going to Gary. He was a lawyer for the 4 arrested in attempted DIA security breach. And that's the thing. You'll be videotaping even when they're groping somebody. They'll say, turn that off. But they're all videotaping you. They want to cover up the crime. Remember last year in October and November, we would report and listeners would confirm the hands down the pants? And they were still saying, we don't even grope you on the outside. It's not groping. It's security. It's professionalism. And then, we do stick our hands down your pants and grab your genitals. And Ron Paul came on and talked about him doing it to him. Jesse Ventura came on. I've witnessed it happen to the governor. This is what's going on. So, see, they don't want you to have a public debate about this. They're training their armies, their cadres, to later roll it out. Kind of like for over a decade, they've been listening to your cell phone without warrants. Now they're announcing it. They've been with the smart meters, able to control your thermostat. Now they're announcing it. They've been watching your kids with AI smart cameras in every major public school that we've looked at for over a decade. Austin had face scanning and microphones up in 1998. I got the federal grant documents from K. Bailey Hutchinson on it. That's in my film, Police State 2000. Now they announced it last month. Now they're announcing it to the slaves. Gary, good to have you on with us today, a great patriot, standing up. You've got a history of beating these guys. What really happened with the evil We Are Change people trying to show the out-of-control 10th Amendment, out of their jurisdiction, toilet attendant level goons who love to grope small children? What happened?
Well, Alex, let me first say thank you for having me on your show. It's always a pleasure, although this isn't as pleasurable as it has been in the past because these 4 young people have been charged with criminal offenses, and that's really the travesty. There was one of the younger members, she's in her 20s, and of course she's attractive. She's a newer member to Colorado We Are Change. I had met her a couple of weeks ago at one of the functions, and she was actually flying to California for business. And although this wasn't an officially sanctioned event through Colorado We Are Change, or I would have gotten the email, but nonetheless, some of the members, the more seasoned, simply wanted to escort her to her flight. Now, of course, we've all been trained that you can't go beyond security without a boarding pass, and although Katie had a boarding pass, the other 3 gentlemen did not. So they were attempting to make their point that, hey, listen, we're here, we're just her friends, we want to make sure that she gets on this plane.
Yeah, that's the point. They didn't hide it. They showed up to show the good-looking woman who we know that the pedophiles and the pervs are going to target. That's their favorite. And we know they're going to attack. That's why they've got the job. They like to, grab women's breast. And so they were there to protect her. And this is the TSA striking back. You do not refuse the search or they'll try to charge you now. And you don't videotape the groping. You sit there and you take it. You take the Soviet re-education camp. You take the rape. You take it. You take the sexual assault. You take it and you like it and you don't show it or you go to jail.
Well, plus, we've all heard in the national media that even if you get through the security checkpoint, that doesn't mean that once you get into the concourse that they're not going to pick you out again. And there you are now by yourself. And maybe you're not in your mid-20s. Maybe you're in your mid-70s. Maybe you're in your mid-teens, But we can't have parents go beyond the checkpoint. We can't have relatives go beyond the checkpoint. We can't have friends go beyond the checkpoint. And so their purpose was to get past the checkpoint, submit ID, get on to the little train we have to the concourse, stay with her until she safely got on her plane, which I just don't think is that extraordinary. I think that that's pretty normal, that we want to make sure that our friends and relatives are taken care of. And, they've been charged in the local municipal court with disturbing the peace, interference with police, trespass. But, nonetheless, they're criminal charges. I appeared with one of the young men this morning in court after he had spent 35 hours in jail over his trespass, disturbing the peace ticket that they could have simply been issued. They could have gotten summons to appear. But, they had to be arrested. Katie missed her flight. Thank goodness she made it up later and then was able to make her appointment. But in the end, I think what started out as being a genuine concern for a friend just turned into a mountain of problems. And that's their whole MO, is to make it so uncomfortable to stand up for your rights that if you do, you may just wind up on the evening news. And Channel 7 here locally posted a picture of Osama bin Laden next to their 4 mugshots.
Really?
That's what the local news, they showed the 4 mugshots, and then the next picture up on the screen was Osama bin Laden. So these young men and women for We Are Change who are protecting our rights, protecting the Constitution, doing the dirty work for all us lazy people, are compared with Osama bin Laden.
Well, by the way, I've been harassed once I've gone through the gate, and I've also seen them harassing their favorites, old ladies in wheelchairs or old men for some reason, swiping them, harassing them at the gate. I've seen foreigners in weird uniforms called Wolverine Security in San Francisco years ago, gibbering and jabbering at people and poking at them. And absolutely, I remember the good old days of going and meeting, girlfriends and people at the gate. You don't do that in America anymore. And now they're expanding it to the bus terminals, the train stations. They're now announcing what they've already been beta testing, the full rollout of hands down the pants. It happened in Miami a few months ago, where now you take somebody to the Greyhound station and they run in and stick their hands down your pants. So they're turning everything basically into a prison.
And I don't think that we can deny that they're singling out, particular individuals, which don't necessarily look like terrorists, but more commonly look like attractive young women. So I think that was a part of it. And I think that there's been national coverage on this, mainstream coverage. I just saw a video a couple of days ago of a baby being felt all over and someone was videotaping that. So if we're not active in at least trying some confrontation, and I must say, Alex, although I'm on a public airway, there was an element of civil disobedience here. I mean, I understand that. But on the other hand, no laws were broken.
Well, look, here's who's breaking the law. The federal government is violating the